In the world of science, new discoveries are being made all the time. Many of them go unnoticed, and few people know about them. Today, we're going to learn about the underground ocean of the Earth, about editing human DNA, and when it will be possible to take a ride in an unmanned flying cab. Watch this video to the end, and you'll get a lot of useful information that will surprise you. Now, proof of the existence of the ocean deep beneath the Earth has been found. Yes, that's right. It turns out that our underwater world, what is to us, did not speak, but new research into the planets and satellites of the solar system has led scientists to the interesting conclusion that deep beneath the Earth is quite its own. There may be a giant ocean, for example, like Saturn's satellite Europa. But it's not even remotely accessible to mankind at a depth of an incredible number of kilometers deep. Previously, that argument had been considered absurd because the high temperature of the Earth's core and the Earth's interior would have vaporized it long ago. But that's not the case. The new discovery calls past theories into question as research clearly shows that the planet's water cycle is much more complex and it could affect the existence of the world as a whole. The underground reservoir most likely originated in the early stages of the planet. Inhabited exoplanets. New research on some exoplanets outside of the solar system has led to an interesting discovery. The findings show that the closest planet to us, which orbits Proxima Centauri at a distance of 4.22 light-years from Earth, may have a liquid ocean. The planet is in the habitable zone, and one side of it is facing the star and the other side is in the shadows. This position suggests a huge temperature differential, but the circulating ocean waves can transfer heat from one hemisphere to the other so that the equatorial regions are able to retain their liquidity. So it turns out that water on Earth isn't such a rare phenomenon in the universe. It is far from a secret that water is the very first indicator of the presence of life. So the question of whether we're alone in the universe remains open, because who knows what the underwater world of such exoplanets might hide. Physicists have discovered a new kind of elementary particle. One of the experiments with the Borexino detector discovered a new kind of elementary particles in the second most important fusion process of our luminary, the Sun. Scientists at the Italian National Institute of Nuclear Physics found out that the new class of neutrinos they discovered are the very particles that make our star heat up and glow, which is essentially what it isn't, the engine of the sun or the heart, which you prefer. Ancient microbes of the dinosaur period suddenly came to life. Researchers led by Professor Stephen Hunt of the University of Rhode Island School of Oceanography have brought back to life deep-sea microbes had been dormant for millions of years since the dinosaurs' Cretaceous period. Wait, what? Zombie microbes? Whether or not they're worth naming is up to you to judge, but they literally came back from the dead. Although such a discovery is really not only astonishing, but it also shows that the world of science doesn't stand still and gets higher and higher every time. But how safe is the return of ancient microbes for mankind? According to scientists, the microbes do not pose a danger to mankind. According to him, marine microbes usually don't infect humans. They are marine sedimentary microorganisms that have been buried for almost 100 million years. They lived at a time when dinosaurs ruled the Earth, and humans came much later. They're not adapted to infect humans, explains Professor Stephen Hunt. Well, we hope this is true because we certainly don't need any new epidemics. Fibers for a space elevator. Researchers at Tsinghua University have developed a fiber so durable that they say it could even be used to build a space elevator. It's a heavy-duty fiber. A cubic centimeter can support the weight of 160 elephants, more than 80 tons. The material itself weighs 1.6 grams. The The fiber was constructed from carbon nanotubes. These are cylindrical molecules of carbon atoms connected in hexagonal shapes smaller than 1 nanometer in diameter. Scientists were able to put them together in the form of a cable, but the process was unrealistically complicated. The authors of the development stated that the fiber has tensile strength of about 80 gigapascals. For comparison, space elevator cables need only 7. During experiments, the material proved its outstanding quality, so perhaps in the future it'll be used for the most innovative projects. Well, let's wait to find out. The most powerful quantum computer in the world. The U.S. corporation Honeywell has finally fulfilled its promises in the creation of the most powerful quantum computer that mankind has ever seen. The public was presented a working computer with a record quantum volume of 64 units, twice as powerful as the previous record holder. Quantum computers differ from the usual binary computing in that they use what's called exotic rules of quantum physics. However, researchers are still trying to understand the intricacies of quantum computers. Last year, Google announced that it had achieved quantum superiority using 53 qubits, performing calculations in 200 seconds that would have taken the world's most powerful supercomputer about 10,000 years, according to the company's estimates. The developers assure that quantum computers will cease to be a shocking innovation and will become a real tool for solving practical problems. Well, let's wait and see. The fantastical world is becoming our reality step by step, and the hand guided by our mind is proof of that. Yes, you didn't hear that all. In June 2019, robotic engineers have created a mind-controlled arm. The arm is controlled solely by the power of thought and is able to continuously follow the cursor on the screen. The hand, in the form of a glove, helps to restore the functions of a real hand, for example, a paralyzed hand after a serious illness. Its interface responds to the brain's electromagnetic impulse, recognizes the command, and transmits it as a signal for action. The developers note that if you start exercising in the first few months after a stroke, there's hope for a full return of function of the limbs. At this rate of scientific advancement, you're already starting to believe that in the future we'll get immortality, or at least overcome a deadly disease. An unmanned flying cab. The feeling when the movie Fifth Element no longer looks like science fiction. In 2018, New Zealand began testing the world's first unmanned flying cab. Working on the project took 8 years. The vehicle is powered by an electric motor. It is able to vertically ascend and descend. The cabin is designed for 2 passengers. The model was called Cora. It's capable of climbing to an altitude of 150 to 900 meters and accelerate up to 177 kilometers per hour. One battery charge should be enough for at least 100 kilometers. The flying cab will be able to be ordered through an application, just like a usual car, and the movements of the vehicle will be monitored by an operator on the ground. But so far, this has not been officially implemented, but tests are already underway. Just imagine it will be possible to call out not a Lotta Granda, but almost a personal helicopter through the app. Human DNA editing. This isn't about the Umbrella Corporation at all, and not about you, abode of evil. So, all kidding aside, ladies and gentlemen, it's much more innocuous than that. The news that the first genetically modified babies were born in China literally flew around the world in a matter of hours. Professor He Jiankin said he'd been able to edit the DNA of the embryos and make them immune to HIV infection by deleting the CCR5 gene. The 2 twin girls were born on time and completely healthy, even though their father was infected. But despite the success of the experiment, it provoked a storm of outrage in the scientific community. Many felt that human experimentation was ethically unacceptable. It's because of the uproar the scientists have halted clinical trials, although there are some reports that another baby with altered DNA is expected to be born in the near future. What do you think about this? Is this kind of testing acceptable in our society or not? Write in the comments. Robot neurosurgeon. In 2018, Dutch scientists announced the creation of a robot for neurosurgical operations. Now, artificial intelligence can bring great benefit in the field of medicine. The intervention will be able to be carried out at an angle and with high precision, which is especially important for brain procedures. It is assumed that the work will be put into practice in 2 years after the completion of clinical trials. That's all. I hope you had fun. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment. It'll be very interesting to hear what you think about the latest discoveries in the world of science. We'll see you soon.